Happy Friday. International Women's Day.
Yes. Nice.
Shout out to us, women.
Okay. How was your guys' week?
I had a crazy week.
Do you
I
explain?
can't talk about it. But
that's right.
yes.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, we gotta
Silent
talk about
prayers.
Silent
that. We
prayers.
gotta talk about that.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what?
But I had a good week though. Like besides all that,
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a
Well,
really good
that
week.
was a blessing that, everything turned out okay, though. So.
Absolutely.
We can't tell you, it's a secret. So if you want to know, just ask her in the comments.
Don't.
Maybe she'll respond.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
She's like, no, I won't.
So,
I don't respond.
so
responding.
with being International Women's Day, is there any special women that you guys like think of when you hear that, or?
Every woman in my family. All of
Okay.
them. They're all great women. And all the women in
Shout
my
out to the fam.
salons. Everybody's, I love women. I'm a woman's woman. I really am.
Feminist. I'm
Yeah.
here for it.
Love it.
I just love women.
I don't know if I'm a woman's woman, but
That's
been,
okay.
I've always been
That's
a
okay.
girl that's gotten along better with guys.
Same.
But I'm trying to change that because, whatever.
But you love us. So.
You love
Right.
us.
Well, yeah, like
Different.
obviously, like
not the
women's
same.
rights, feminism, all of that. But, all the women in my life are special. I know that's a boring answer.
It's really not.
It's so true though. Like every woman in my life has influenced me in some way.
Mm-hmm.
So I was talking to my mom earlier. My mom's like my best friend. Love her, And I was telling her, I was like, I just couldn't imagine like not having woman support in your family. Like I have so many friends that maybe like didn't grow up with like the best relationship with their mom, like all this stuff. And I'm like, I have a daughter and I just couldn't imagine not being there for her, like not showing her the ropes, like as a woman, like especially now, like the things that she's capable of doing that like even like we weren't kind of told back then that we were capable of doing. And she'll always ask me like, well, what can I be when I grow up? And I'm like, you could be anything you want to be. Like teaching her like she's beautiful without makeup and the way she is and like all that stuff.
And it's so hard these days to reach like society standards.
Yes.
Especially with the
Oh my
upcoming, generations. It's crazy. Like they
Social
feel like
media.
that, they feel like they have to meet these standards.
The standards. Like
Yeah,
we've
it's
come
crazy.
so far as women, but yet we're still fighting these silent fights.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, we love each other, but you're still at competition in some type of form. And it's just like, okay,
I know.
why? Like,
Yeah. Do you feel like what do you think is the number one thing that a woman in your life, so in your case, your mom, in your case, maybe somebody else or your mom, taught you to be like an adult woman?
strong.
I was gonna say that. My grandma, she told me
Elaborate.
you just have to be strong. You just have to be able
Whatever
to hold your
you-
own,
yeah.
stand your ground.
Okay.
Make sure you can take care of yourself. Make sure you take care of the people around you as well. I think that's really important as being a woman because we are nurturing,
Naturally. My mom taught me.
Some of us aren't.
Yeah, true. Some of us are not
It's okay.
natural.
It's okay.
It's
No,
okay.
I am, but like,
Yeah.
One thing my mom,
Right. Yeah.
one thing my mom always like kept reminding me was about making mistakes. It's okay, but like learn from them.
yeah.
Like everyone, that's how you grow, that's how you learn, whatever. But my mom was just like, just don't repeat them, and you're gonna make it through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I try to like
Exactly.
do it now, be stronger when I go through some stuff, and I also try to put it with my kids and my daughter. Just be like, you may have bad days, whatever, but it's like it's not the worst. Things could be worse, whatever. But no, my mom definitely taught me to take the good and the bad, but like just keep pushing. Just keep your head up, chin up, buttercup.
So what are some things that you guys feel like you wish your mom would have taught you that she didn't?
I would probably say, again, my mom's great, but one thing that I'm kind of strong on teaching my daughter that like I wasn't taught, and this isn't because my mom like didn't teach me, she just kind of was learning herself, is more like expressing your emotions and how to. There's not just anger and there's not just being happy. Like there's so many other emotions and like, why are you feeling this way? Like that's something I'm huge about now.
Yeah.
So like that's one thing that I'm like, again, she was still learning as a young mom, but
I think for me, it's like managing not only like yourself and your person, but your finances, making sure that your financial house is like in order, like on point, because it's one of those things where it's like my dad was like the financial provider. I mean, my mom worked obviously, but like my dad was like the person to like pay the bills. Well, not only the breadwinner, but he paid the bills. He did everything. He paid every single bill that was. And my mom never touched like any of that.
So funny because
when
mine are the opposite.
Yeah.
So when I'm out on my own and I'm kind of like wondering like, what do I do about this? You know, like it I don't know. Like it would have given me better financial security, I think, if it would have come from her instead of him. You
That's
know,
understandable.
So
seeing like the woman go through
that was my only thing. And to this day, like her and I get into it sometimes because I'm like, Mom, like you need to know how to do this, like, you know, someday if Dad's not around, like what are you gonna do? Biggest, you know, like you have to stand on your own. And she can stand on her own in other ways, but you know,
that it's so funny because mine were like the opposite. Well, I mean, they've had a joint bank account ever since they were married, whatever, but like my mom handles paying the bills per se, like logging in, doing whatever needs to be calling, writing checks, whatever. My dad's just like, as long as my credit card doesn't get declined, we're good. Like,
It's so interesting that because it's flipped from my parents.
I think with me, it's kind of like I take on that role, like as the secretary of the marriage, where it's like, hey, can you call and pay this? Hey, can you call and set up this appointment? But I kind of learned from my mom, like that's just kind of like naturally how it goes. But that's funny that you're the opposite though.
No, it's weird too because my mom will be like, you know, oh, your father has to do XYZ. I'm like, you know, you could do that, right? Like your father has to make this appointment. Your father has to do this and do that. I'm like, you have a phone though. Like you can do all these things. Right. You can do all these things. And I've caught myself like doing that. Like where I'll tell my partner, I'll be like, hey, you need to blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I am so capable of doing these things. Like, why am I asking him to do it? It's because like, that's kind of how I was taught.
Right.
But one of the things I wish I would have got from her was just like her ability to like make a meal out of anything. The woman is a fantastic cook. Like she can have like some crappy ingredients in the fridge that are just like leftovers and like some ketchup and throw it together and be like, I made whatever.
That's how my dad is.
And I'm like, wow, Mom, like just, and it'll take her 30 minutes. I'm in the kitchen for 2 hours and I'm like, here's a chicken,
here's a like, butter piece of bread.
Right? It's a butter toast. And it's the best butter toast you've ever eaten, but it's like, it takes me forever. And she'll whip it up in 30 minutes. Like that's her role. That was her role, you know? So it's just.
My mom's a crock pot queen. And she loves her crock pot cooking. Like, you know,
some good meals that you can make.
Man, for real.
When they cook all day too.
Oh my gosh!
And she got
home. You smell the crock pot meal. Cooking.
Yes.
Okay, I don't trust crock pots when I'm not home. I have a huge pet peeve about that.
No, you have. That's the whole point.
Yeah,
what are you gonna do?
I don't know.
Put it in the oven.
I do. On the weekends, if I'm home,
I do.
I'll cook it.
That's good. We love that.
No, but when you said about you making appointments or like feeling like you can't, whatever, don't you find it funny that you don't realize behavior that you're taught from your parents, but yet you do them?
Oh yeah.
Like just like watching them do certain things, you're like, oh, that was a learned behavior. And then you get older and you're like, oh crap, like
yeah, trauma.
Right, didn't realize I took after this, but
like, wow, like
yeah.
I need to change my ways, otherwise I'm gonna be just as old and bitter as some of my relatives.
I feel like something that my mom didn't teach me is how to ask for things that like I want, how to take time for myself.
That's a big one.
Yeah, she didn't. I mean, of course, I love my mom. She's a great person.
Yeah,
my mom, she's like super sick, so she wasn't able to take care of me, like throughout my childhood. But she's a good person. She's a great person. But yeah, there's some things that like I realize over time that like come up and I'm like, oh wow, you know, like
I think
I wish I would have knew that. You know?
Yeah.
And I think it hits you more like when you become a mom and like you're raising these kids and you're just like, okay, I understand now. Like as a kid, you're like, man, I wish my mom would do this or I wish my dad would do that. Like, you don't really have those answers. But then when you have kids, you're like, okay, like, I get it now. Like, you were still learning to be a parent while being a parent.
And you're also like,
that's the
I
hardest
would
thing to
never
do.
put my kids through some of the
Certain
things
stuff,
that my
yeah.
parents put me through. You know, it's like, I'm never going to do that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. My kids are not going to have to go through that.
Yeah.
At all.
I think one thing,
live and
like,
learn.
Yeah.
that I'm super grateful for, too, is my parents never kind of, like, allowed us to kind of, like, see the struggle that they went through. Like, my mom was always, my mom
That's good,
kept all
though.
that separate.
Yes.
Like, she, to this day, is just like,
Yes.
I don't understand talking finances with your children. I don't understand, like, with younger kids knowing how much money, whatever. And
I feel like that's just such a problem these days. So many kids know about so many
Adults,
things,
yeah.
adult stuff, and they need to stay in their place, you know?
yeah,
Oh my
my mom
Parent-
is big on that.
I
Like,
have a
And I am too.
horror story for
try
you
to
guys.
be.
It's not really a horror story. But, so, my mom's place of employment, she works with kids, obviously, and kids say the darndest things.
they do.
And just a good example of that is this kid was getting in trouble. I remember she was telling me the story. And then this kid goes, my mom's like, you can't act that way. Like, someday you're gonna have to, like, have a job, and, like, you can't, like, disrespect
Authority.
authority.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't need a job. Like, my mom gets money from the government. That's what I'm gonna do. And I was just like, the fact that these
Bull.
kids know that, like,
Yeah.
say what you want about, like, welfare, whatever, I don't care, but, like, having that knowledge as a child, like,
Right.
probably isn't the best thing for them. Like, let them choose their own path.
But then again, back to like society, like these days, like it's
Yeah.
so hard to keep kids away from stuff like that
That's true.
because of social media and the stuff that they see online. And
Mm-hmm.
like, I know my kids, they love YouTube, and like it's just it's so hard for me to keep things away from them that they really do like, you know.
They are exposed to a lot
They're
more
exposed to
than
a
we
lot.
were,
Yeah.
for sure. But I just, like,
There's certain
there's
boundaries
certain boundaries that, like, okay,
parent-child boundaries.
if me and your dad are having a conversation, like,
Get out of the room.
right.
Yeah.
So he's like,
Leave us
hey,
alone.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
another thing, too. Like, my mom was very big on, like, adult business, child business. Like, whatever.
Yeah, that
That's
was
good.
when I was growing up, yes, but when I got older, the conflict started to stem from, well, me, because I was, shitty kid, young adult. And I would always, like, cause trouble, cause fights and stuff. So, like, once it started to morph into, like, me being the problem child and, like, causing problems and stuff, and then, like, the whole family would fight, and then you couldn't separate it. 'Cause
That
it
was me.
like,
I was
everybody.
that child too. I
You
was
were? Yeah.
definitely the problem
Yeah.
child.
I never, like,
Yeah.
this is going
Look
to
at
be
us
really
now.
weird.
Look
Yeah.
at us now.
I never, I never fought with my mom. My dad and I, yeah, but my mom, like, my mom was like the calm one. My mom was like, hey, like, what's going on? Like, why did you
That's
behave
good.
like this?
Oh my gosh.
My mom was like, whatever. And she'd be like, okay, well, I'm disappointed, which I hate that word, by the way. Like, be angry, don't be disappointed. My mom's like, I'm disappointed,
mean?
Yeah.
What does
whatever.
that mean, parents, if you're disappointed?
Yes, like,
Did I get a, it's not like I
terrible.
failed the
But,
test.
like,
I failed the
No,
test.
exactly.
but it hits you harder, though.
You know, it should. It
Like,
really should.
if my parents said I'm disappointed, I'd be like, man, like, I really fucked up.
Damn.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
I
like,
need to
I'm going about,
reevaluate
like,
things.
but, like, my dad and I'd be more like the bumping heads. But I would say, especially, like, this makes me so happy because I see so many women bosses out there, like, doing their thing, you know, whatever. And it's like, that
love
makes me
that.
so happy because
Yeah.
when we were growing up, it was kind of just common. Of course, even further back
Typical,
then,
you know,
where,
like,
like, the women just
women-
kind of, you
Yeah.
know, were there, helped with the kids or helped with
Yeah.
the household, whatever. But it's like, there's so many more women entrepreneurs now, and it's just like, good for you.
Yeah.
Like,
But bringing back to what you said about taking time for yourself, like, I don't think I ever realized the sacrifices that my mom made and completely devoted to being a mother and nothing else.
yeah.
That's what she is.
But you
And
kind of
that's
get
what
lost in it, though.
Right. And
yeah.
like, I never really understood that because I have likes, I have wants, I have dreams, I have hobbies, I have a career, I have all of these things. And I'm like, I don't have children, but if I did, would I want to give all that up just to be?
That's how you gotta
have a
learn to
mother,
balance.
Be my only
Yeah.
identity. No. So like,
And then feeling like you're responsible for everything
but then
too.
you feel guilty
Right.
because you're like, well, I should feel like being
I-
a mother is my only responsibility and my only
Right.
identity.
I get
'cause that's
such
what I
mom
am.
guilt if I'm like not at the house for like 3 to 4 hours, even though I'm with them all the time. I'm like, crap, like
Your
I'm
mom guilt right now.
Oh, I do, 100%.
I don't.
I get it from I enjoy.
I have a good balance in my life. Like, I need that.
This is
time.
another thing I
need
get
it.
from my mom, and I honestly think it's just in our genes. So I love balance, and I love getting time without my kids.
But
I
you're a
also love my
family
kids.
person.
My mom and dad literally won a free trip to Vegas back when we were little. There's 3 of us, me and 2 brothers. And my mom like cried and was like, I got to get back home with my babies. Now she does not go out often. Like they were not the parents that were like out on the weekends. Like we very rarely were not with somebody else. And my mom to this day, she'll be like, I just didn't want to be away from you guys. Like I just didn't want to do it.
So sweet,
and
though.
I think I just get it from her, like internally, where I'm just like, I love in much as they can be like the biggest little pain in the butt sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm
it's
away
just-
from them. I'm like, I miss my babies.
Yeah. I mean, I always miss my kids, but I feel like I work so much that then again, I do need
You need you
that.
time.
I need me.
Yeah,
I need
and
me
we all
time.
do. We
Yeah.
all do.
Yeah.
Like even moving away. My mom has a hard time. Like if her kids are not like in her little nest area, she's like, "Oh, you moving to another state? Are you sure you want to do that?" Like you know,
That's how my grandma.
yeah.
She's always saying stuff like
And
that.
I love it though. I love our relationship, and I pray to God that my daughter and I like that when we get older. But yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, women, we're pretty cool.
Yeah, we're our
Danica's
bodies. We were
cool.
talking. I am cool. I've Nova said that I was cool. Jordan said I was cool. I'm cool.
I think you're pretty good.
Our bodies,
I like your Annie hairstyle.
huh?
So I like your Annie hairstyle.
Thank you.
It's
Growing it
beautiful.
out.
That's the Ice Spice.
It
It
kind
is.
of,
Ice
if I
Spice.
got it red, would I be Ice Spice?
Yeah, I love that.
We were talking earlier, like our bodies can do and handle so much, like including
Amazing
childbirth, but like
things.
other things too besides childbirth. Like women's bodies are not just for childbirth. Well, let me tell you, because like I haven't had kids, and sometimes I'm amazed at like, oh wow, like
I touched my toes today.
right, like I don't feel like shit like today, even though I spent all night out.
Do you
here,
know the
whatever.
woman's body does fluctuate like the most?
Oh,
like
yeah.
by week, like by day, like whatever.
weight?
Yes.
Oh yes,
I think that is so insane. Like
no, it's wild.
even besides like, you know, like being that time of month.
That's why I don't
like,
weigh myself.
After
That's why I
I feel
don't,
like
like,
after I
believe
had
in
kids, my
scales.
weight fluctuated the most.
Really?
For sure. Yeah.
I just
Oh,
don't. I
100%.
don't.
Now I'm pretty consistent, but after I had kids, I
was,
didn't
like,
I
up
didn't know
and
where
down.
I was gonna be. I was just
Yeah.
like, one day I'm good, one day I'm like, oh shit,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Yeah. Yeah, our bodies are amazing. You know what's funny though is that like I can feel like the most confident version of myself and like so confident and be like, yeah, like I look good, I feel good, like let's
and the
go.
next day be like,
And then like I'll just see somebody that's like prettier, better. I don't even know what those standards look like, honestly. But then I'm just like, oh. And it sucks because I don't want to feel that way. And I'm not jealous. Like I don't want to be that person. But
Right.
like you were talking about like the competition.
competition.
Constantly comparing yourselves to others
Right.
as like a validation of your self-worth. That's not like we have to get beyond that, guys. Like we
Absolutely.
gotta do something else. Like that,
Yeah, I
that
feel
ain't
like
it.
let me go back to like what my mom didn't teach me. So she didn't teach me like, okay, wake up and get ready in the morning. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
those
she would
small
leave the
little-
house because she worked at night, you know. So she would leave the
Sure.
house
Yeah.
in pajamas every single day, wake up
Right.
and go, you know. And so as I was growing up, I would do the same thing. But then I realized like you really do need to make sure you take the time to get ready.
you feel how
right.
you
You
look.
feel exactly
Yeah.
like, and, you know, you need to take time with your like on yourself because
Yeah,
it
that's
really does help.
self-care.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's funny that you say that because that's probably one thing that I'm learning too. And because my mom, again, like growing up, whatever, but all that stuff wasn't even common back then. Like the self-care wasn't there, all that stuff. Like I shouldn't say it wasn't there. It wasn't as big maybe as it is now. And my mom's always gotten herself put together, but never like a full-blown face of makeup. Like she's never been that type of woman. So I kind of never picked that up either. But now I'm like, man, like I wish I had more places to go where I could like get ready, like whatever. But
You don't even have to have a place to go. Like just
I ain't about to
get
do my
ready.
makeup and sit on my couch. That's a
Just
waste of a
do it.
face.
You
Right,
know?
exactly. Minimal.
Hey, fuck it. Take
Minimal.
a picture. You know.
I mean, I'm jealous
Yeah,
of the,
It
I
makes
am
you feel good.
Selfie
so it
Saturday.
doesn't matter.
I
You
am
know?
jealous of the girls though that can like put on full face, like it's like
Like,
not even an
man.
effort given, and they're just like boom. Like I have a friend like that.
I feel like we're all we all don't wear a lot of makeup,
we don't.
you know, and that's
The
good.
most I wear is when I'm
Yeah.
It's okay if you do, but you
But
know,
that
like,
makeup talent though, like
Oh my God,
it
it's
is-
like
it's phenomenal.
artiste.
Yes.
it's top tier.
Like-
It is art. It literally is a
It's-
form of
yeah.
art, and I love it. Like, I'm here for it.
Mhm.
If I could learn how to do that when I do wear makeup, I would be proud of
no,
myself.
but I just look like I give myself 2 black eyes. So like, is this right? Is this a smoky eye? And then I'm just like this.
That honestly, I stopped trying.
I'm
After I used to say, "Is this a smoky eye?" and I looked like I had a black eye. I can't
Yeah.
stop trying.
like never mind. Never mind. I'll just wipe it off.
Yeah.
But I
You know what?
think
I'm not
that-
going out
Wipe
anymore.
that shit
I'm not going
off.
out.
I think
Please.
what you said about the competition also stems from an early childhood, like an early age, because
True.
I literally have like been telling my daughter almost every day since she was like little, we'll always talk about you are beautiful, you are smart, you are strong. Like, and she'll tell me if somebody brings up makeup, and she's only 6, but if somebody brings up makeup, she'll say, well, you're too young for makeup, or like, I don't need makeup, I'm perfect the way I am. And I was like,
That's
it's
I like
sinking
that.
in, like, and I love it because I'm just like, I hope you stay that way. Like, I
Yeah.
hope you always have that feeling in you, because I didn't have that confidence growing up. Like, I was like, here and there I would be whatever, but I never was that girl that was like, I'm top notch, I'm the bad bitch,
No.
da da da, whatever.
Me neither.
Like,
never.
but I want her to always be like that.
No, but I feel like you're that way.
Like, I just was like,
I just heard
I was like-
the most deafening silence. And I
she's
was
like, well, damn, I did.
She was already like that.
I was so I've always been so humble though. Like I'm just
No, for sure. No,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm just like
I was like, I'm
I don't
funny.
even say too much, you know. I'm just
No,
kinda
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and that's I feel like every as us women, like I feel like we all should be like that though,
Yeah.
because I don't judge people. Like I really do look at every woman like they're beautiful. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta stay humble.
I
though.
feel like
That's true.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I do feel like we all should look at ourselves the way that people like feel. That
Do you
feel like they're
know
top-notch.
one thing
You
that
know what I
drives me
mean?
absolutely insane
Hmm.
is the phrase "you look good for having kids."
Oh, that's crazy.
Oh, ew. People still say that?
Oh,
I haven't heard.
No.
like,
Have you heard-
oh, well, she had
I
3
haven't heard.
kids, like she still looks good, da da da, whatever. And it's like that drives me
I'm like-
absolutely insane. Like the fact that a woman's body carried another human being.
It's like, oh, you look
for
good,
9 months,
especially since you
like-
have kids. Like, what do you do? What do you expect?
What am
me
I
to look
supposed to
What
look
am I
like? Like,
supposed to look
Yeah.
and that's the thing. Every single like woman is different. Some
damned if
may
you do, damned
bounce
if you
back,
don't,
right?
Like, damned if you do bounce back, and damned if you don't. If you
like
did
I
bounce
brought my
back, oh, you're
blessing into
vain.
right. Like
If you don't bounce back, then you're lazy. Like that. Why is there?
But
why
I
are those
think
the only two
you can't
narratives?
expect your body to change like in the first 3 years. You have to give yourself that
Yeah.
time. You know,
Right.
it takes a lot of time for your
And
body
effort.
to overcome from for your body
If
to
you
over.
don't have kids. It takes 5 years.
but then again,
the
like
20 pounds that you put on.
going from
like, oh,
transitioning from like I don't know, like as you become an adult, like
Mm-hmm.
transitioning from that kid body
Yeah.
to a woman's body, like having kids or no kids, it's a big.
but I'm
difference.
also proud that like I'm not the same size I was in high school.
me
Like,
too.
it's
Absolutely.
okay to put on some
I feel
weight
like
and
I was
yeah,
real small.
me too. I looked
I
at some
was-
pictures and I was like,
I
okay,
was
skin and
super-
bones.
I was like a twig, and then all of a sudden I hit college, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I left my ex and I gained
figured
a
out
lot
what
of
ramen
weight,
noodles
and I feel
were?
I
real
was like,
healthy.
what is this? All this. And
Was it the
then
freshman 20 or whatever it is
I
they
was
say?
like freshman, like 45. Like it was. No
I'm
way
here
this
for
is
it. But
it.
again, it's
She said,
like
"I'm here for it."
there's
I mean,
no
hey, it's
exact picture about the perfect woman or whatever. And that's what I think is important too,
Yeah.
is like as long as you feel comfortable, you feel beautiful, that's what it is.
What if you
Absolutely.
But also too, like
If you don't, you just
What if
gotta
you
figure it
don't?
out. It
There-
sucks, but like you really.
But if you
just
don't,
gotta
but
figure
like
it out.
I think what I'm trying to like ask is, or is it okay to not be okay? Like, is it okay to still
course.
feel those feelings?
I think you should always feel your
you
feelings.
know what I mean. Like
You
there's
should.
some-
You
like
should always
express
feel-
them.
because like
Yeah.
I feel bad sometimes when I do a lot of self-loathing in the mirror. I'm like, you're stupid, and like, whatever. It makes me feel better just like getting it out there, but also I'm just like, why did I feel bad for like talking so down about myself, but at the same time I'm like, no, I just needed to get that out there, and like now I'm good. Like
that's when you put your little sticky
get rid of
notes
the
up
intrusive-
on your mirror.
Get rid of the
Yeah.
intrusive thoughts, like
Yeah.
quickly and quietly, so that it doesn't interfere
Like, all
with my
right.
everyday
Put a
life.
countdown on your phone.
Because everyone has them. You know what I mean? Like everyone has them. Like
You
we
do.
all have intrusive thoughts that like bring us down or, whatever. And, some people just have them more than others, I guess. But
I think there's a difference of having them and letting them control you though.
Yeah.
Like
True. Yeah.
that's where you have to draw that line and be like, okay, like I maybe felt down this day, but like tomorrow, absolutely not. Like tomorrow, I'm waking up, washing my face, doing this,
Yep.
putting
And
on
I
the
feel
makeup,
like that
whatever.
does come with like experience too, like going
Right.
through certain things and like having people constantly tell you like, oh, you're not, or you're less than, you know what I mean? So you have to,
Those words hurt.
they hurt, you know, so you have to,
They hurt.
you just have to feel yourself, you know, you just have to like look at yourself in the mirror and be like, you know what, fuck
You gotta
them.
find that glow again.
Fuck
Exact-
them. You
fuck
know who I'm
them.
talking about too. I'm gonna address it.
I think you should,
I'm gonna address it.
But
not
do you
tonight.
think like
tomorrow.
okay, so speaking of that, do you think your looks and appearance
gonna
have a part on like who you hang around?
wait. Repeat that.
Like, do you think your looks and all that like play a part with like your environment? Like,
No.
if you're stressed out, do you think you naturally kind of like look more stressed out versus
Oh.
like if you're happy, like whatever?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
without even thinking about
No,
it.
because
Yeah.
okay, so when I was with my ex, I was like 100 pounds, and that was just last year.
So you were like stressed.
So
Here's the kicker.
now I'm
When
not.
people are like, "Oh, you lost weight," you'd be like,
So-
"Yeah, because I haven't eaten in like 6 weeks."
Okay.
Stressed the hell out.
So-
Right, like healthy. What's your version of healthy? Is healthy being in a relationship that maybe not be good for you, but you're like skinny,
It's
or
just
is
like-
it like being?
And there
fri-
shouldn't be a look to healthy.
No, it's but
but
for
in
women
society,
it is.
yeah. But
for
women-
women, it
women
is.
it
For
is.
women, it is.
Right.
That
Be-
part.
you know, have a dad bod. Men can
And it's
be
hot.
skinny.
It's
and
hot.
It's hot. You,
You know?
Pete
I love it.
Davidson. And it's hot. You could
Oh,
be like you
Lord.
could be Jelly Roll and it's hot.
as long as you're funny.
We love all of it.
No,
Women
I
are so.
do.
I feel like women are just so accepting.
We
And
are.
If a
men
woman
are
has one
is
stretch marks,
accepting.
he's like, I'm good.
I don't think men care about stretch marks.
some.
Some
do.
Some do. Some
Shout out to the ones that
Really?
don't.
Okay.
You know.
shout out to the ones that
But-
don't.
I don't know. No one's ever said anything.
But I
about
think it just
Yeah.
puts the pressure on women again, though, because also, even if men don't come out right away and say, hey, we don't like this, we don't like that, when you see men commenting on certain things, you automatically think like that's kind of like what all men like. Whether you're in a relationship or not, you kind of feel like, okay,
words
well,
hurt.
yeah, well, and like men are like, oh man, like she's got like a fat ass, da da da. So you think, okay, men like women with fat asses. So let me go figure out how to do this. Oh, she's got a
Figure
slim
out how to
face,
get a
pretty
fat
face, like,
Let me figure out how to.
let me go figure out how to
I'm taking notes.
like, you know, like, okay, men will put on social media like nobody likes a girl that walks out of the house in sweatpants. And then people are commenting like, oh, you're so right, you're so right, you're
And
so
I'ma
right. So
still
then
be
women
out
who
the
wear
house
sweatpants are like, well,
in
damn.
sweatpants.
Right.
Like, I'm in sweatpants about 6
I feel
days
like
out of the week,
I
so-
don't even look at the comments and things. Like I really don't look at comments.
And that's
Probably.
I love
Yeah,
that. I love
I
that for
don't.
you though.
Yeah,
Like,
I
and
feel
that's the
like
thing about
everyone
it too.
should
Like,
be
I
like
don't think I could handle being like, I shouldn't say I couldn't handle, but as a celebrity, you have people coming at you all the time.
I was just talking about
Like,
this
you
with one of my
have to
clients.
learn how to just put that on mute, and that's a strong skill. Like the hate in
But it affects them
people,
too.
it does affect them. They're still
100%.
human,
Yeah.
and I think that's what pisses me off.
They're just
like,
built different.
They're right.
They're just built
It
different.
still affects
They're
them, and
used to it.
Like
yeah.
they're still human, and
Yeah.
and that's kind of what's sad too, though, is when people are like, oh, well, they're celebrities, they signed up for this. They didn't sign up to be bullied.
See,
They didn't
Bullying
sign
is
up,
not
like-
tolerated whether you're a celebrity or
Right.
a normal person. So
would you
like,
guys rather be rich or rich or famous?
Rich.
Rich, right? You don't. I don't want
Put
anyone
me
to
into
know me.
hiding.
If I have to choose,
Okay.
why would I be famous and not have any money?
Exactly, but you'd be surprised. Like famous, you're gonna have money regardless, but you'd be surprised how many people want to be noticed. You know,
Yeah.
No, put me behind the scenes. Like,
that's how I am.
I don't
too.
know. And my mom always
don't
taught me
want
to, like, if
anyone
you have
to know.
nothing nice to
Silent
say,
partner.
don't
Yeah.
say anything. Yeah,
Please.
like,
Silent partner.
I don't know. I'm just not a mean person. So I'm
Exact-
like,
bro,
So where are we
it's
at?
so
So
bad.
what did we learn today?
woman or boss.
Women are bosses. Boss bitches.
National Women's Day. Shout
Be
out to
nice.
us.
Love your moms
Words
or
hurt.
other women's in women's
Words hurt.
women in your life.
Love all the women.
Love all the women, and have a fat ass or don't. I mean,
Or don't, because
like,
we're
up
all
to you.
beautiful.
Slim
Yeah,
waist, pretty face. You would die.
Anyway,
Oh man, no, but women are amazing though.
yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Without them, we would not be here.
Th- th-
So that's
That's
what
actually
that's true. You should put some props on women because nobody would be here on this
Nobody.
earth if there was not for women.
Not one person.
That's all I got. Mic drop.
Give
Mic
some love to
drop.
the women in your life.